Dot Corruption, a LitRPG by J.M. Foley, a.k.a. Artie. Chapter 4, Killing Time. The woods swallowed us in stages, sunlight filtering through dense trees, the sounds of birds fading until all I could hear was our boot on damp soil and the faint rustle of wind in the canopy above. No HUD, no quest markers, just me and Lilia walking in the direction she pointed. Eventually, she slowed and raised a hand. "There," she whispered, "up ahead, near the bridge." I followed her gaze and spotted it. A boar, big, shaggy, thick shoulders, low to the ground, tusks like chipped daggers. It snorted once and pawed the earth, unaware I was watching. Okay, not a mob, not a texture. That's a real animal. Breathing, shifting weight, twitching its ears. God, this game was insane. I gripped the sword at my back and drew it free with a quiet scrape of leather on metal. The weight felt real. Off balance maybe, but not unfamiliar. I moved low through the underbrush, boots soft, shoulders coiled, closed the distance. One clean swing. That was the plan. I raised the blade overhead and brought it down hard across the boar's flank. It let out a howl, a deep guttural squeal, and stumbled, a deep gash carved through its side. Blood darkened its fur. I expected it to crumple. Instead, it surged forward, pushing through the pain, crashing through brush and spinning wide to gain space. Shit, it's adapting. That wasn't scripted. It skidded sideways, wheeled on me, and charged. Lilia's voice snapped in just behind me. "Brace! Angle the flat of your blade! Parry!" I brought my sword up just in time, tilting it. Crack! The impact slammed through my arms like a freight train. I slid back half a step, boots digging into the mossy dirt. The blade held, barely. The boar staggered, momentarily stunned. "Now," she called, "strike its head." I moved on instinct, stepping forward and slamming the sword down and in, the tip burying itself under the boar's jaw with a sickening crunch. It went still, twitched once, then fell. Breath hitched in my throat, not because I was tired, but because that felt real. Too real. The weight, the resistance, the heat of blood against my hands. This was incredible. Lilia stepped beside me, eyes glowing faintly blue. A soft pulse of green light radiated from her hand. Healing magic. My arms stopped aching. She smiled. "One down. You're a natural." I blinked, flexed my fingers once. "Thanks," I muttered, not looking at her. Her smile softened. "Of course." She didn't ask for praise, didn't expect it. Still, felt right to say it. Lilia clapped her hands together, beaming. "Congrats on your first kill. You should have just leveled up." She stepped beside me, hands clasped behind her back as she explained. "To allocate your point, just open your character sheet, or open the level up notification and choose where to place it. You only get one per level, so think it through." Her eyes flicked to me, thoughtful. "As an Eldritch Knight, I'd recommend Strength or Intelligence. Power in the blade or power in the spell. But if you're finding it hard to stay upright, Vitality gives you more health, and Endurance helps you block and dodge without wearing yourself out." She gave a small shrug and smile. "There's no wrong choice, just depends on how you want to fight." Sure enough, a faint icon pulsed at the edge of my vision. I thought, notifications, and the system responded. "Ding! You have reached level 2. You feel stronger, sharper, more aware of the aether that flows through the world. +1 attribute point, +1 skill point. To allocate attribute points, open your character sheet. To allocate skill points, open your skill tree." I thought, character sheet, and a new screen faded into view. A 3D model of myself rotated slowly in the center. It mirrored my movements, raised its arm when I did, turned its head as I tilted mine. It was a little jarring. Personal. Name, Echo. Class, Eldritch Knight. Level, 2. Title, Seeker. Starting gift, Locked Pendant. Resource system, cooldown-based abilities. Unspent attribute points, 1. Unspent skill points, 1. Attributes, Strength, 8. Dexterity, 5. Intelligence, 7. Piety, 3. Vitality, 6. Endurance, 6. Wisdom, 4. Focus, 7. Luck, 5. Resistance, 5. Charisma, 4. Maybe putting the point into intelligence would be a good idea to balance it out with my strength. But what even is focus, or resistance? Piety? I've never seen some of these in any other game. Maybe I should ask Lilia. I glanced over at her. Hey, what's focus? Lilia perked up like she'd been waiting for the question. Oh, focus is your ability to resist interruptions. Like when something tries to knock you out of an attack or spell. She mimed swinging a sword, then flinching mid-motion. With low focus, a stray hit can stagger you, but with high focus, you can power through it. She tapped her temple. It's part mental, part physical. A kind of inner stability. Some classes don't need much, but for an Eldritch Knight? She gave me a knowing look. It helps. Right, I muttered, glancing back at the sheet. And resistance? Defense against non-physical damage. Fire, lightning, poison, that sort of thing. Especially important if you're wearing light armor, or wandering into cursed places you probably shouldn't. And piety? Lilia laughed softly. Oh, that's mostly for clerics and healers. It increases the potency of restorative and light-based magic, not your specialty. Got it. Focus equals don't flinch, resistance equals don't melt, and piety equals not for me. She chuckled. Sounds like you've got it. You're a fast learner. I groaned. Gods, you're really laying it on thick with the new player handholding, huh? She just smiled, bright, unfazed, and totally immune to sarcasm. Only for the special ones. Of course she said that. I went ahead and allocated my attribute point to intelligence, then opened my skill tree to spend the skill point. Holy shit. It was massive. At the top, things were simple, just a few basic nodes. But the deeper I scrolled, the more each branch split and split again and again. One skill bled into another, then into another school entirely. Whole sections of it were grayed out, like they were waiting for something. An unlock, a condition perhaps. Maybe class quest locked? Who knows? This wasn't a tree, it was a forest. At the top, however, there were only 5 options. Shadow Bolt. Active. 0 out of 5. 10-second cooldown. Fires a projectile of shadow magic that slows and deals damage on hit. Scales with intelligence. Basic ranged attack. Grave Slash. Active. 0 out of 5. 20-second cooldown. Wide, heavy melee swing. Deals bonus damage after a parry. Applies bleed. Dark Guard. Passive. 0 out of 5. Improves focus and resistance while blocking. Increases parry window. Wraithbind. Active. 0 out of 5. 45-second cooldown. 15-second duration. Temporarily enchants weapon with shadow. Hits apply slow. Abyssal Discipline. Passive. 0 out of 5. Reduces cooldowns by 1% per point. Restores 1% per point of health per second if no abilities are cooling down. I hovered over each node, reading their descriptions. All of them had potential. All of them felt like the start of something. Grave Slash looked brutal, slow, wide, and perfect for punishing sloppy enemies. Bonus damage after a parry? Tempting, but a 20-second cooldown for a move I might not land reliably yet? Risky. Dark Guard made sense. More poise, better parries, a bit of resistance padding. It was the smart choice if I planned to tank hits. Wraithbind had that flashy edge. Weapon enchantment, slowing effect, 15-second duration. Cooldown was steep though. Probably better later once I had more stamina to chain attacks. Abyssal Discipline was a long game pick. Passive cooldown reduction and a regen buff if I wasn't using anything. Nice for builds with tight cycles, not so helpful right now. Then there was Shadow Bolt. Basic range spell, decent cooldown, scaled off intelligence, slowed the target. If something was flying, if I needed to pull without aggroing an entire pack of mobs, this would keep me from getting mauled while trying to close distance. I tapped it. Skill learned, Shadow Bolt, rank 1 out of 5. A thread of shadow weaves into your memory. I closed the skill tree and saw Lilia staring at me, smiling. Kind, patient, a little creepy. She hadn't moved, not blinked, just stood there with that same gentle, waiting expression like she was a painting that hadn't realized it was real. Before I could say anything, her eyes flicked past me. Echo, she said softly, behind you. I turned and saw second boar already mid-charge. Shit. I barely got my blade up in time. The impact slammed into my guard like a battering ram. I stumbled back, boots sliding across damp grass, and nearly lost my grip. Try casting, Lilia called. Focus your intent. Think of the name of the skill. Now. I did. Shadow Bolt. Darkness surged from somewhere behind my eyes, ran down my arm, and launched from my palm in a single jagged arc. It struck the boar clean in his side, bursting on impact with a flash of black light. The creature squealed, slowed mid-motion, long enough for me to adjust my stance. Instant cast. Nice. Cooldown's already ticking. Strike low, Lilia called, a little too cheerfully for the situation. I darted in and drove my blade forward into the creature's chest. It staggered, thrashed once, and collapsed into the undergrowth. I wiped the blood off my blade with a patch of moss and turned toward Lilia. She was smiling. Again. Great work, Echo. You're doing great. Same tone, same words, same exact pause before saying my name. Okay, that was the same line as before. Let's limit test this NPC. Thanks. By the way, what do you want out of life? What are your goals, your ambitions? Lilia stared at me, smile frozen in place. Great work, Echo. You're doing great. I guess they're still working out a few bugs. The third boar was grazing near a tree stump, oblivious. Lilia raised a hand, that same practiced warmth in her voice. Remember, slow it with Shadow Bolt, then strike while it's staggered. Great work, Echo. You're doing. And then a loud sound of static pierced through my brain. Ow. My fucking head. What the hell just happened? Thank you for listening. If you want to read ahead, you can find the link to my book on Royal Road in the video description. If you're enjoying the story, please feel free to leave a comment and tell me your thoughts. If you like my way of storytelling, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be writing and uploading more chapters and stories soon. Thank you so much for listening.